It is July 3rd, 2020. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Justin LaBar. Matt Morgan is en route. He will be here shortly, so we're going to kick it off with the news and then hop into covering SmackDown Live tonight. I still say SmackDown Live. It's SmackDown on Fox now is what they keep calling it, right?
Yeah, no, drop the live.
I know, but, I remember the era of tape SmackDown. They said on Twitter, post something that says how old you are. That shows your age. I still call it SmackDown Live.
Yeah, no more hashtag SD Live. It is hashtag SmackDown if you want to get the SmackDown logo.
Yes.
On Twitter.
Hashtag. What's going on in the news, Justin LaBar?
It's actually quite a bit. It kind of rained us here. So real quick, just we'll obviously get into SmackDown review. It looks like this ruling has come in after the fact, if you looked at tonight's audience members. But PW Insider reporting that WWE officials have told the roster and staff that from now on they will be enforcing that you be wearing a protective mask unless you're in the ring or on camera performing, and that if you violate this, there will be fines. You will, for the first violation, you'll be fined $500, and then if you have to be punished a second time, it would go to $1,000. No word on if there's a third strike. Hopefully it doesn't get to that. But this tonight's SmackDown was taped a few days ago, so it seems like this ruling is coming to play sense, because if you watch SmackDown tonight, there were several people in the audience, several of the developmental talents who maybe they might have had the mask, but they had them not covering their face. They had them maybe just hanging around their neck.
And
so
it was taped. That's why it wasn't hashtag SmackDown Live.
There you go.
Yeah.
So WWE making some ruling there. Also, something else that we will talk a little bit more about. We'll talk about the storyline, but just an exclusive that Wrestling Inc. had. We had an exclusive last week, giving some initial details about this Bray Wyatt Braun Strowman Swamp match. We got a few more details, and so another round of exclusive news here. It is going to be filmed next week. We've learned stunt coordinator Ellis Edwards is going to be involved in this. He's been a guy who's been around the wrestling business dating back to WCW in the 90s. It's not necessarily doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be some sequence of big elaborate stunts. It's going to need a stuntman every single time, but if nothing else, he's going to be there kind of as a technical advisor to make sure certain things are executed and shot and prepped in a safe manner. So you can read a little bit more about that on Wrestling Inc. But as we wait this next the cinematic installments, WWE in the business world, it had been rumored for a while, and again, PW Insider saying that it's finally a done deal. WWE has officially acquired Evolve, the wrestling promotion. Evolve, for those who are not familiar, Gabe Sapolsky, who's been behind that since 2010. Gabe does now work for, I think he works more with the NXT brand, if I'm correct, but he is employed by WWE. And Gabe, he's been in the business for many decades. He was I think he was like the apprentice of Paul Heyman in the original ECW. So he's been around, and Evolve was certainly one of the top indie promotions that basically had become a feeder system in a lot of ways to NXT and WWE. Just a few names that have worked Evolve prior to WWE: Apollo Crews, Johnny Gargano, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Oni Lorcan, several AEW talents. So WWE acquiring this, they can now, if they want, they could run shows maybe under the Evolve name if they want. Who knows, especially right now in the middle of a pandemic. But the biggest thing they get out of it is they get the tape library. And as I just named, there's a lot of guys who, as WWE wants to do documentaries and even just have more content on the network, there's a lot of deep dive in some of these guys' careers on the earlier part that they will be able to exploit. So that is a constantly developing story as we're learning more and more about that deal.
Now, WWE being a public company, do we know yet how much the acquisition was for?
We don't.
So we'll know probably in the next, maybe not the Q2 filings, maybe not until Q3, depending on when this closed.
Yeah, this has been rumored for several weeks. And it sounds like this just got done like this week. So yeah, I don't know if it'd probably be a Q3 thing that we'd probably be able to see a line item for it of what they've.
It's exciting.
It is, and I mean, and mind you,
a lot of AEW talents in that tape library.
Correct. So there's a value there. They did, some people might remember this, I think it was a year ago, WWE did produce and air on the WWE Network an Evolve show, and to date, it's the only non-WWE branded show that's ever aired on the network live. So who knows? Maybe whether they feel they have reason to continue that brand, whether they gets rolled into 205 Live or NXT UK or one of the existing brands, we'll wait and see. But again, just the fact they have access to the IP is
okay. Here's wild speculation.
Okay.
the WWE pay-per-view for the women was Evolution. Evolve, perhaps, would be a great name for a weekly women's show on the network.
Well, they own the name now, so certainly possible.
Some point. No, look, I mean, I think this is interesting. I mean, Darby Allin, there's a lot of other AEW talents that had matches in Evolve that now that library is going to be on the network. They did counter program that Evolve pay-per-view to go head-to-head with, what was it, Fight for the Fallen, which is crazy because we're almost here. We are a year later at the next Fight for the Fallen. I think NXT is so stacked right now. I mean, like you've always argued, it's not a step down from the main roster, but it's not, in the minor leagues of baseball, there's tiers to that. And I think that NXT is no longer fresh out of training, developmental, not even a year or two in developmental. I mean, some people are fast tracked on TV, but there's a lot of talent at the Performance Center that aren't getting to wrestle at all now. They were only getting to do the local loops in Florida. Right. And there's a lot they could do. There's a lot they could do with this. And I think if they spun off the women, well, one, I don't think they'll do that because I think the women, as we've seen, the women are perhaps a big part of the reason why NXT's squeaking out some wins over AEW on Wednesdays. But I think that, yeah, if they split that roster, it'll open up more space for more talent to get exposure.
Well, and actually, I'll segue into this. You mentioned the numbers, so the numbers are in for this past Wednesday of the night one of Fyter Fest versus night one of Great American Bash. I can happily say that I did predict it was close margin, but NXT did win. They got 792,000 viewership versus AEW 748. So I was wrong on the one part. I thought both shows were top 800,000. NXT got close, AEW not so much. So NXT does win in the overall viewership. This was the quarter hour of viewership between for Sasha Banks versus Io Shirai was the best quarter hour NXT's had since going to Wednesday nights on cable back in the fall. So good night for NXT. It should be noted, and this is what a lot of the AEW talents are taking to social media to remind everybody of that key 18 to 49 demo. AEW still did beat NXT in that, but NXT did some of its best performance in that demo, so it continues to rise. So any which way, good for the fans, good all the way around here. But NXT does win night one. It'll be interesting to see who does night two, who wins night two, as I go into the next news story here. This one, there's a spoiler element to it, but I'm going to, if you want to read everything about it and be spoiled, you can go to Wrestling Inc. I will tell you this story without giving away the spoiler because I don't want to.
Oh, so is it spin control now that they're trying to say, oh, we shot two different things, we're trolling the fans, tune in to find out which ending's real?
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
Well, there was a developmental talent that tweeted something along those lines.
Yeah,
it's not going to be like the movie Clue. Although I wish it were, or wish it was Choose Your Own Adventure. What happens if this talent wins? What happens if this talent wins? Netflix is big with the branching streaming technology. Mr. Matt Morgan, how's it going?
What up?
Talking about NXT beat AEW in the ratings this Wednesday.
We said they would.
Yeah. And there's a spoiler. There's spoilers for we're not going to go into detail, but I saw some for Great American Bash and Fyter Fest apparently had leaked.
Well, with the Great American Bash, it's interesting because the spoiler, the photo, there was a photo that one of the Indashir, which is a tag team of the two tall Indian talents, one of them, and I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, so again, I'm not going to butcher it, but you can go read the details, basically put up in his Instagram story a photo that would seemingly give away the results of a major angle next week on NXT's Great American Bash Night 2. So
did it involve him?
No. It was him like in the crowd. He was obviously like in the production area of the crowd. He took a photo, put it in his Instagram story. He deleted the story since, but of course fans screen grabbed and called it. And that talent, I mean, he's like I said, he's one half of Indashir. I mean, he's very, very new to the business, but even still, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that you're taping something. Why would you, so no surprise here, and you can read about this again on Wrestling Inc. I won't give away what the angle is, but you can read WWE officials are reportedly fuming at this talent. And I believe that, rightfully so. I mean, this is just a bonehead move. I don't know. So I won't give any. If you want to know more, go to Wrestling Inc. And finally, Matt, you might find some.
Oh, Matt's favorite wrestler.
Yes. So Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that Vince has soured on a certain talent and that he has pulled them from any WWE TV booking, and that talent is Shayna Baszler. We have not seen Shayna on TV since she beat Natalya by submission, I believe, in the mid-May on Raw.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her since, and the report goes on to say that Vince just doesn't get her. She doesn't check the buttons for Vince. He doesn't quite see her MMA crossover working.
Well, I mean, with so many talented women, you've got to be like freaking A, man. It's tough.
Yeah,
you got to be A pluses across the board right now. By the way, I rewatched The Blueprint. I watched Sasha Banks and what's her name the other night again.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Freaking A, that was really good. I just want to put this one spot over. She dove through the ropes to do a sunset flip while Io was on the outside of the apron and power bombed her into the. We didn't put that over nearly enough. That was dope. That was a good match. But my point is though, I don't even know why I went off on that tangent. ADD moment, but nonetheless, it's A pluses across the board for this women's division. You got to come with it in every single aspect. And no offense to Baszler here, but her promos are terrible. Okay, then is her wrestling 5 stars?
It's not her gimmick though. Her gimmick isn't to go out there and do a bunch of flippy shit or have a big technical match.
Here's my thing. Why can't they do that with what's her name? The one who's doing the stuff with just forget it. I'm terrible with names. Just forget it.
Sonya?
Thank you. Yes, Sonya Deville. Why not? Why can't she just do that? She's got tons of charisma.
I agree. I know Sonya, I think, is a better play.
Sonya, better.
Yeah. With Shayna, it's that idea, right? To make a comparison to Jaws. In Jaws, the idea of the shark is scary. When you see the shark, kind of like, well, that's just a mechanical shark. But you build it up. With Shayna, the idea of Shayna is scary, but then the actuality is...
You're right. The part about Shayna, though, that sucks is she's not... We know... I follow MMA closely, so I knew who she was, obviously. But the majority of the fans, like, she's not getting that Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, real badass in real life heat that comes with her. Not heat in a bad way, by the way. Heat in a good way.
And with Shayna, when you stand her side by side to a lot of these other women in WWE, she's diminutive. She's shorter. She's not as muscular. I'm not saying she's not a badass in real life, but she just on the visual, just passing the visual test, she doesn't look like she's gonna. At least Ronda Rousey. Ronda's tall, and I don't know, like it. I don't really buy into Shayna. And Matt, to your point about Io and Sasha, I don't know if you were on yet and you heard, but that their match, their quarter hour, did the best quarter hour for NXT since it's gone to Wednesday nights on cable.
That match was insanity. I hate the fact that they called her the genius of the sky, by the way. That's got to go. That's terrible. Look, folks, it's the genius of the sky. She's going to get you.
like Chuck Yeager, like who genius of the sky.
She doesn't need that name.
It doesn't make sense.
She's so good, but man, I got to give it to her. Sasha brought it. That was a good match. Wow, that was good. It's one of the best women's matches I've seen in quite a while, actually. And it's funny. It's the second time I noticed it more because I didn't have to watch it side by side this time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's the thing. I think a lot of people didn't watch it side by side. They just turned the channel. They just watched it 100%. I think we are probably in the minority on this podcast that we had to pay attention to both at the same time. I would have loved to have just turned AEW off and focused on the match. I'm going to go back and rewatch it because I remember enjoying what I saw of it.
Oh, my God. I'm telling you, that spot. Watch that spot. That is impossible to pull off. I can't even begin to tell you how hard that is.
And that's the thing. With Shayna, it's not to take away from her legitimate MMA record. It's just she was not the star that Ronda was. Ronda just showing up at WrestleMania before she was even on the roster got huge props because she was,
she has that feel to her too on top of it.
She's like the Mary badass. She was like the Mary Lou Retton of MMA.
Oh, you're terrible. You are terrible. Nobody
Justin doesn't get that reference. You know who it is.
Of course I did.
Yeah, but the point is, like, no one cared about women's gymnastics, but Mary Lou Retton was America's sweetheart in 1985 and was everywhere after the 84 Olympics. And Ronda has that, and Shayna, it's the unfortunate part about having to travel in the wake of that. And I think that there are just so many well-defined characters, so many good promos, so many good storylines. It's just right place, wrong time, maybe for Shayna. I think if she'd come in as the antithesis of the Divas matches and was just like, I'm here to tear through all of you women and just show you like what a real fighter looks like, I think she could have been revolutionary, but she has to follow legit. And when I say superstar, Sasha Banks, this isn't WWE superstar like we just say about everyone on the roster. Sasha Banks is a superstar.
Revolutionary, though? Revolutionary.
Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, these women. Okay.
No. You said what's her name?
Oh, it's Shayna? Yeah, if she'd come in during the Divas, like if she'd come in and just beat the shit out of Nikki Bella.
Well, I'm looking at Shayna's MMA stats, by the way. I mean, like she's above 500, but I mean she was 15-11 and she lost 5 of her last 6 fights. I mean, it's not like she was.
Yeah, Ronda,
we're wasting way too much time on this with her. We really are. We're just burying her. Let's stop burying the girl.
But I'm trying to actually give her credit. I'm trying to give her credit. Right place, wrong time. That's my take on
she was. If she was around when I was wrestling, and even though we had really good women wrestlers, I always go back to Mickie James, best working punch in the business, one of them. We had Beth Phoenix. We had some really, really, really stud talents that weren't allowed to go out there and do their thing, man. Now they could, but if she came around back then, who knows?
They should have. Shayna's best hope would have been fast tracked before Ronda showed up. That would have given her the legitimacy. Is there news on Kairi Sane? People in the chat room are asking, Justin. I've seen rumors.
Well, yeah. Again, we have it on Wrestling Inc. Let me try to pull it up. Yeah, she got married back in I think February. Her husband's a wrestler in New Japan, so that topped with just the booking and such. There's basically there's a belief that she is on her way out, and that WWE is basically writing and preparing for her to be off. I'm trying to see if I can.
Is anyone in the chat room saying, "Hey, are we actually going to cover the show that people come and watch"? Is that in the chat room?
Surprisingly, not yet, Matt.
No,
they're just so happy to see your smiling face. You're on a Friday night, the night before.
I don't have an. Hang on, there it is.
Steve Marcuccioli, $1.99.
Hey, Steve.
If Ronda comes back, who's the dream match?
Why is she automatically in the dream match? She never got the one off with Flair, right?
No, Survivor Series. When Flair stood in for Becky. When Becky was out with the broken nose.
Huh. I don't have an answer for that. Do you?
I mean, one-on-one with Becky would be cool.
Becky does.
Asuka. Like a real match with Asuka would be great.
There you go.
A real one with Asuka, or if they built somebody new up like a Lacey Evans, or found somebody new that you could create some aura around.
There you go.
Back.
So let's talk about SmackDown. Matt Riddle came out tonight with Michael Cole in the ring and told the story of why he wears the flip-flops.
And?
Well, I mean, so he said that he got, he got frostbite playing in the snow after being in a pool as a child. When he puts shoes on, he feels that same.
It's a ridiculous story.
You know, I respect that they tried to give him an origin story or a reason.
Yes, I do respect that part.
Yeah. King Baron Corbin came out, was talking smack about him, got on commentary. Then we had Matt Riddle versus John Morrison with Corbin on commentary.
I was excited when this started, by the way.
Yeah, what'd you think of the match here? I mean, they got a good 20-minute segment here.
This match was awesome. You can't say this match wasn't gangbusters because it was. Great spots. I'm still kind of frustrated with how they're booking my boy. I don't get it. I just don't get it. John Morrison could have been and should have been a like sniffing around the world heavyweight title picture there somewhere, and if the main event picture, at least maybe a match away from it, you know. Yeah, not a match like the match before the main event, let's say semi. You know, there's no, the guy looks like $1 million. He's charismatic, and he's amazing in the ring. I don't get it, but that said, this was an amazing match.
Yeah, this was if you didn't see SmackDown, go watch this match. Something else.
This is the match.
I mean, some of the sequences too, is just putting over Morrison here with Matt. He did a spot where he did a cartwheel and transitioned from that cartwheel into a gut wrench suplex. I mean, I've never seen that. This was great. I mean, yeah, and the story was so stupid and ridiculous, but yes, it at least did acknowledge kind of like the elephant in the room, which is no other talent gets to wrestle barefoot in this day and age of WWE. So, and that's a big part of his shtick with the whole kick the flip-flops off. Yeah, great match. I mean, John Morrison is definitely the most offensive, impressive enhancement talent because that's essentially they just have him lose to everybody and just make him look good.
I mean,
my stomach hearing that.
well, but you got to roll with it, right, Matt? I mean, it's let me put it this way: if they had announced and they're clearly building up Riddle versus Corbin, if they'd said, "Oh, I mean, Riddle versus Corbin," no offense to Baron Corbin, but like nobody's looking forward to that match.
Right, it's backwards. Have him roll
Yeah.
through Corbin and then
Yeah.
get to a Morrison, and then, I don't know. Morrison needs to have wins. Besides the point,
I think when that match happens, I think Riddle's going to come out. I think he's going to kick Corbin in the face, and this is going to be over. I think that's like they don't need to have a banger of a match.
Fine by me.
Yeah, but I thought with Morrison this was good. I thought it was interesting. Corbin shouting out "Fast Times at Ridgemont High" during the promo. They're like in talking trash about Riddle, and it's weird that when I thought about it, that's like the most influential movie on SmackDown right now, because we had the sequence with Otis and Mandy referencing the pool scene. We had the sequence with The Miz and Morrison messing up Braun's car and that pissing Braun off like Forrest Whitaker as Jefferson in the movie. And now we've got Riddle as Spicoli. So
Forrest Whitaker was ginormous in that
huge,
movie, right?
Huge. Yeah.
To the point where I did not recognize him when he became an adult actor.
Yeah. He was great.
It was him.
He was great. So yes, that's either Bruce Pritchard or Vince McMahon's favorite movie, because
Bruce.
Yeah, probably Bruce.
No way for Vince.
That came out in '82. Vince might have seen it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So we got a couple super chats here. I apologize for mispronouncing your name. Dipjati Paul saying Jericho reposted the NXT Great American Bash spoilers on Facebook. That's a WCW move.
Huh. Interesting. Why Facebook on one? I didn't know Jericho was on Facebook.
Yeah, he's been doing Saturday Night Special, like Saturday Night Live streams.
I've seen that on YouTube. I didn't know he was doing that on that too. Huh.
Yes.
Interesting. I don't know what to think of that, because Chris is he's the type that wants all businesses to do well, right? He legit does. So I don't know. Maybe he did that to do what happened right here, where somebody paid money in the super chat to talk about it and just have a news. I don't know.
I mean, unless it's like a reverse psychology, because sometimes when things get out there that on a tape show for WWE, and people go, right. "Oh, now I know I need to tune in because I want to see it unfold." So,
or this wasn't that much of a show that I need to go watch. But it was.
His main event. Remember, Jericho versus Orange Cassidy is
lowest rated segment in AEW history, right?
What was it?
Yeah.
It was it was pretty, yeah.
I was told it was the lowest rated segment in AEW history.
They're building that to be the main event of Fyter Fest Night 2, and that's likely going to be going up against the match that was allegedly spoiled. So we'll see. But with the match that was spoiled, I think that people think 90% that's the outcome anyhow. So
yeah, I mean it might have. I mean, it might have the Mick Foley effect. But that they had in the 90s, but I don't know. It's never mind that you are right, Glenn. It's also just the fact of like I just can't believe that talent was so stupid to do that. Like you're like the
majority of things, the majority of gaffes are self-inflicted wounds. The talent places on themselves.
I think that's a talent being so new to the business that they forget maybe like, oh, my Instagram story, wrestling, like I'm a public figure now. Wrestling fans might actually see. I don't know.
Plus, these people are younger. I mean, Matt, like you and I were already adults when social media became a thing. Justin, you came of age when social media was a thing. I think we've all learned, about how to navigate that as part of it. A lot of these talents now, they're 20, in their 20s, maybe not as savvy with it. To them, it's always been there, but they haven't been used to being in the public eye.
It's a much bigger extension of them than it is outside, I argue. Meaning, like, they're on it all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe the guy's just, I don't know. I'm trying to make an excuse for him because I hope he doesn't get that. I hope that he just gets a talking to, and that's it. Nothing more.
Yeah. Leon, our superstar, saying with Becky gone, Charlotte injured, Shayna benched, and Sane soon to be gone. Who do you guys think could step up and take advantage of the situation?
Now, Leon, to be fair, Shayna being benched and Zayn soon to be gone isn't really, again.
Yeah, that's not the void.
That much of a big deal. That's how stacked this women's division is, though, to my point. So, I mean, geez. I still think it needs to be, and Justin just said her name earlier, I think it needs to be Lacey Evans.
I think
I
so.
don't know what they're waiting on with her. She already should have been champion by now, in my opinion.
But right now, though, Asuka and Sasha Banks by far are the two biggest female superstars in WWE.
Asuka, yes. Yes. I don't think WWE sees her that way. I do, though.
Jonathan Prado saying Morrison in NXT would be awesome.
Yes, it would, Jonathan. Yes, it would.
And Antoine Fair, $5 saying, Glenn, you couldn't wear a different hat. LOL, I just started watching it if you told us not to. Sheamus had all the Guinness stuff up. I was like, I'm going to wear the Guinness hat. And I ordered some new hats and they fit weird, but I've got more hats showing up.
Dude,
there will hopefully be a new hat Monday.
That looks like your little brother's hat.
Thanks.
That doesn't. That does. It's small.
No, here's the problem. Okay, so I ordered some hats. So my head is actually exactly 24 inches around. And I ordered some hats, but Justin saw before we start here. Oh, I forget what it's like. 7 3/4. I don't remember. I
got to watch the dress rehearsal when I came on the stream here. Glenn was trying all the different hats on.
Yeah, and the problem is that the ones that fit my head go up too high. I need like a low profile. I need a low profile hat. And I ordered some. I ordered a couple Kangles. Order a few different things.
A Major League Baseball hat should fit you. I've got it. Look at the size of this Frankenstein hat of mine. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but your head's
mine
taller.
Gets covered with it.
Yeah, but look how much space is between your eyebrows and the top of your head. There's not as much for me. Quite. So it's like I'm telling you, when I put it on, I have to pull it down like right over my eyebrows for it to fit correctly, or else I have this skyscraper on top of my head.
But when I put on my Major League Baseball caps and I wear it backwards, whatever, it comes right down to my ears.
Yeah.
And I wear 7.5. No, 7 3/4.
I'm getting used to it still. I'm going to figure it out. I did order a beret. It did not look cool like Rerun from What's Happening. I was thinking about Rerun. I was like, I love the Rerun. I was like, a beret could be cool, right? You know, in my town that I live in, there's like 5 white dudes that wear berets all the time. And I thought they were all the same guy. I realized that these are separate, older white gentlemen who wear berets. I was maybe I'll rock the beret look. But no, a red beret, that was a wrong move.
Glenn, you're really selling how bad this haircut was. The fact that you're now ordering all new head accessories.
It's not a bad haircut. It's that the hair is all gone. It's actually fantastic. It's been so hot here. It's actually been great just to not have this. And believe me, for a moment, I did look at wigs. I was just kind of like, maybe I'll just get a wig.
No, you didn't.
Yes.
No, you
anyhow,
moving on, please.
Matt's like, let's talk about this title.
We're like on the second match.
WWE. There were not many matches on this show, Matt. Intercontinental title match: Drew Gulak versus AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan on Zoom during this, offering some commentary. I thought that was different.
It was different.
Yeah, good match, good back and forth, but no, I mean, we knew Styles was winning this.
This was a good match, though. I did like this. I thought he did make Drew a little bit here. A little bit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a guarantee that Styles going to win. Drew's beat him before. Styles getting beat by Riddle.
Wait.
Or not Riddle. Drew Gulak has beaten AJ Styles. Yeah. They kept talking about that.
Singles?
So it's like, yeah.
My kid must have been in the room and I didn't hear that.
So, but AJ gave Drew a lot here. Like,
yeah.
This was a good match.
And I like what you said, Glenn, about the attempt, at least, with Daniel Bryan trying to do something different, especially during these crazy times we're in. I thought that was cool. At least they're thinking differently. I'm always a fan of that, even if it misses.
Yeah.
But this didn't miss. This was cool.
No, it was good. And I think there's a lot here, you know, with AJ even showing up earlier after Riddle was celebrating. I like the continuity. I mean, I think Riddle's going to take care of Corbin easily at Extreme Rules, and at SummerSlam, it's going to be AJ versus Matt for the Intercontinental Championship. I think it'll be great. I mean, both these guys are at the top of their game. Let's talk about this. Sasha Banks and Bayley, their promo coming out there, that video they were showing, talking about the Undertaker, or Taker as Bayley refers to him, allegedly went on and called them to say how great they're doing. The Golden Role Models, is that new? Is their name?
Yeah, that seems kind of new. I did appreciate, by the way, like as I come out of the production trailer on the tease to go to break, of how they've been working all day in the production trailer on this video tribute. So now they're video editors all of a sudden.
They took a lynda.com course and they went to Skillshare.
Listen, I did pop huge for the Taker line.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty hilarious, actually.
It was good. Both of them. I mean, I think both of them are some of the best stuff right now in the business. Bailey, I think, is getting better. You know, Bailey has benefited from the non-crowd era. Huge.
She has, and they're turning me right now, both of them.
I just think Bailey's shtick was so awkward when the crowd was there, and now I think, she's I think probably, of the female talent, the one that's benefited the most from no audience. So they were interrupted by Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Now, of course, Bailey is facing Nikki at Extreme Rules. This led to Bailey versus Alexa. This went for a bit, but then was broken up by DQ when Nikki Cross interfered. So Bailey technically got the win. But what'd you think of this match, Matt, and how this feud's building up?
Good match. I love Alexa. I'm happy to see her get a singles match here again. I want her to dump her partner already and be a singles act again.
Yeah, good match. I mean, Bailey, who would have thought it? She was such a babyface character, and now she just gets better and better with this heel stuff. It's kind of like a Britt Baker situation. You know, you always pegged her as to be the babyface, and now they give her a run as a heel, and it's paying off. It's working.
Yeah. I could see after Extreme Rules maybe breaking Alexa and Nikki up, and maybe we get old Nikki back and get them in a singles feud.
Yeah, maybe. I definitely think we're heading towards obviously the Bailey Sasha breakup, right? I mean, that's got to be what they set up for SummerSlam.
Why do you? Which is crazy because right now they're doing the best work they've done so far.
Mm-hmm.
I actually wouldn't break them up just yet.
Yeah, that's why serious. I think Nikki and Alexa break up, because I think that it gives them a good one-on-one feud. I don't know who Bailey then faces at SummerSlam if not Sasha.
Even Bailey outside the ring during selling all of Sasha's stuff was hilarious.
She was great.
Like on NXT the other night. She I'm telling you, they're changing my mind right now about them, because I've always thought there's no way Bailey could pull the heel off. She's an amazing babyface. The company screwed her from day one on how they debuted her. It was really pissed me off. And then they've been behind ever since with her. It's not her fault. It's their fault.
But you know who's getting an even worse deal that we totally forgot that Joel Jose in the chat room mentioned? Bianca Belair. She should be the heir apparent.
Oh my God, where the hell is she?
I know. That's what I'm saying. Bianca, you could slide her in a one-on-one against Bailey or Sasha, and that would be money for SummerSlam.
I don't know for sure, but this is just speculating based on timeline. Bianca got quickly kind of brought in over to Raw. We saw her with the Street Profits,
right.
But I think. And then not too long after, the switch came where Heyman was out. So I almost wonder if if she was a Heyman want.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between.
She goes. Glenn, I'll answer that real quick. Yeah. She goes across everybody's spectrum. She checks the boxes for everybody that's evaluating talent.
If you look at Bianca Belair,
where is she weak?
Yeah, if you look at her from her promos to her ring work to even just the hair, and you don't see superstar, you shouldn't be in this business.
Character, promos, matches. She can do all three.
Yeah.
I just spit part of my apple out. Sorry, guys. That was probably gross.
But I mean, she's the one since day one. I mean, look, we all like seeing new talent, and we like to see, oh, this person has potential. Bianca Belair, go back on this podcast since day one. We have said this woman is a goddamn superstar. And is going to be ready for the prime time soon if they not even book her correctly. Just put her on TV.
We were wanting her to be in, if you remember, I want to say WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they were using her to to tease that they would do something with Rhea and Charlotte, something like that, and then it ended up just being Charlotte and Rhea at WrestleMania? We wanted it to be Bianca, and it was believable. I thought it would have been believable if they did that.
Yeah.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, so people are saying the rumors, maybe she hurt her shoulder. She could still do promos. She could still, I mean, she's someone, I just want to see her on TV.
That's the problem.
I hope it is too.
But you know what though? If she's hurt, I hope that's the reason. It's not because this company is too stupid to realize she's a superstar.
Yes. And let me say,
at least she'll get over that and come back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hope she's okay regardless, but it's like she could still be on TV. Dibjati again with a super chat saying, who should Tessa feud with first in WWE? Ooh. Personally, Charlotte. I mean, is there any fire to the smoke, Justin, with the rumor?
Meltzer put a report out saying that WWE put feelers out there, and I'm just saying I don't believe that. So make up your own mind.
It just seems like a bad time.
It kind of sound like.
Hang on.
What?
No, go ahead. Sounds like. So.
I don't know. I was like, I don't think that's the case. I wonder if.
Damn, Dave Meltzer, you're getting called out by Justin LaBarbarian right now.
I disagree with him. I don't know.
I appreciate that, Justin.
Maybe
sticking to your journalistic integrity.
Maybe somebody fed it to Dave to have it put out there to make it look switch. I don't know.
What was the source?
Mm-hmm. It used to happen when I wrestled. That used to happen all the time when I wrestled. Guys would always make crap up just to get a headline on Wrestling Inc. and other websites.
Tammy's saying that
what?
Bianca's not
Tammy,
hurt. She's on main event versus Billie Kay. That's why.
Say it ain't so, Tammy.
What don't they see? Oh. What don't they see in her?
Duh.
So frustrating.
Tammy, we need your help, Tammy. We need you to write WWE on our behalves.
Everyone should. Everyone should be.
The bleep are you guys doing?
Maybe that's the key.
And you, Tammy, please.
I don't even know when main event airs or where it airs, but I think that's the thing. I think if she had a great match and everybody was talking about it, I think they would respond to that. I think just out of sight, out of mind. Like I said, we didn't even think of her earlier. We said, who's the heir apparent?
Which is ridiculous. You're right. You're right.
But that just goes to show. Like with Shayna, I haven't thought about Shayna Baszler until she was in the news.
And how damn stacked this division is.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, Naomi, Bobby Stevens is saying she checked the boxes, and look how many times they were stop and go with her.
Yes.
Yeah,
Naomi. That's not her fault.
Naomi was athletic. I mean, she was just a marketing gem, all with the look and the light up shoes, the entrance.
Day one, she was.
This is, I mean, honestly, yeah. Sorry, man.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're loud and clear, man.
All right, apologize. What were you saying about Naomi, Glenn?
No, I'm just saying this is, again, broken record. This is why they need a women's show. This is why all this talent. And with the men's roster,
ask the chat room. Think there should be a women's division?
Yeah, the women's show.
I mean, I'm sorry. Should there be an all-women's show chat room? What do you think?
Because we're talking about it, and I'm not thinking tonight, like, on SmackDown, where was Otis? What's Tucker doing? Where are the Forgotten Sons? Like, we're not asking these questions about the male talent, but with the women, I'm telling you, they're the best characters in professional wrestling, the ones that I want to watch and see in stories on a weekly basis.
And that's what I said. Fans were starting to say, I don't know when it was a long time ago, maybe even a year ago. And they're like, oh, you're just saying that because you're just being nice because they're women. I'm like, no, it's their characters. How do you not see the difference? Their characters are way more defined. Months later, Justin started saying it on here too. And then everybody, I must have been the first to say it, but my point was, even back then, it's always been their characters, for whatever reason, are better defined. They're clearly defined. Today, I will argue more than they've ever been.
And I'm thinking about this, Matt. I think that this is the scenario set up because it's not. Oh, here we go. Here's something that might be controversial. The male superstars aren't the larger than life guys. Part of this indie revolution that's happened is we have more average looking dudes on the male side of builds. Yeah.
Their height, weights, and build, he means. Yep.
And they don't, I mean, there's no one that's like, or it's few and far between. I mean, Finn Balor with the makeup, you'll see people that come out and do something that's like larger than life, but for the most part, you have the same problem as Undisputed Era. It looks like a bunch of guys just doing a CrossFit class at the gym. They're in a CrossFit boot camp together, and they go get beers after.
We talked about this. The women go all out we were just talking about one small segment of some of their, how they separate themselves. So many of them, and Justin was saying this too, I recall, is like the hair color, right? They all have distinct hair color, and they go out like that. They go into real life. They go to the gym like that. They go to the mall like that. They go out with their significant others like that. They go everywhere like that, right? Guy wrestlers, and I was one of those, for the record, that were too cool for school to go all the way in. And I mean, the craziest I got was like a beard down to here. I didn't grow my hair out. I didn't grow a mohawk. I didn't, put a tattoo on my face or something that was me being 100% all in my character 24 hours a day. I'll argue most of those women do that.
Yeah, there's something there. Even people are talking about like Ember Moon, good example. I mean, I know she's out with an injury.
Damn.
But man, Ember, like, I want to read like a graphic novel series about the adventures of Ember Moon, like hunting werewolves and shit. Like, that would be badass. She just looks awesome. There's so much there. And Tammy saying Naomi's Rumble return was all over Twitter. Non-wrestling fans, 3 million views, and they did nothing with her. Like, that's why.
Well, and she also, you know, I didn't believe this for a while.
Tammy.
Yeah, good job, Tammy. I didn't believe this for a while. Tammy's like become like our research stat person here.
Needs to be our 4th member of the show. P.S.
She knows when Bianca Belair had her last match. She's got YouTube numbers.
For real.
The crossover hype from the reality shows is real. The reality shows do grab people, and so I think Naomi being a prominent part of the Total Divas, I think that helps too. She, like, I know her. Even like there's others, you know, the Bellas, like they grab. I'll meet like wives or girlfriends of guys I know, and they find out that I work with pro wrestling. And they go, "Oh, I love watching and it's a big thing. They like to see that." So even dumber that the company does not capitalize on it. Yeah. I know.
Even with Natty, Natty's the ultimate sweetheart babyface to so many Americans that watch that show, like all across our country. Why would you not? I don't know.
And I think there's a separation of audience. I think some male wrestling fans do still have a stigma about women's wrestling. Some people in creative clearly have a bias against it for whatever reason. We're never going to be in a perfect world where it's half the show because people like Kevin Dunn.
Wait, do you really? Oh, half the show. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying we're not going to get to that point where someone like Kevin Dunn or Michael Hayes says like, well, we're going to seamlessly integrate the men's and women's rosters and create a balanced product that everyone gets what they want out of it. I don't think that's going to happen, not while the current regime's in charge.
Well, guess what? If they were getting their butts kicked in ratings and they would see that the girls pull the best ratings generally, especially the top ones, I think they'd be forced into it, and I think that would be a good thing. It should be about ratings.
But there's also a thing, though, Matt. I'm sure you've seen this in the corporate world. I'm sure you saw this in professional wrestling. There is this weird cover your ass shit, or it's like if something happens that reality is something you don't agree with, you come up with some whataboutism or way to sort of shift it or pigeonhole it. To, you know, I'm sure. Okay, for instance, let me give you an example of this.
So for the ones that don't want to do this, you're saying?
Yeah, they have an excuse.
I got you.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that said, well, it wasn't really the women. It was just Becky is this once-in-a-generation talent. It's not that a woman got that rating, so we should put more women on the air. It's that we should put, and that's probably explains how they booked Becky a lot, because they did put her in a lot of promos that didn't need to be promos, that maybe could have gone to another female superstar to make some more female talent and get them over. But you know what I mean? They think it's the person, not that it's that women have something to offer that's a little more dynamic in terms of just character and larger than life characters.
Yeah, but when you say that, Glenn, then you, in my opinion, you take away from they're all different individual talents, those women, right? So just to put someone up there blanketly because they're a female versus a male.
No, and let me be clear.
Just put them out there because they're better than the guys.
And let me be clear.
More times than not.
I don't mean that it's just sheerly, you know, based on a chromosome difference of gender that something draws a rating because it's a woman. What I'm saying is, if you look what they did with Becky, what they should have said is, okay, Becky's a really unique character. She's got a great look. She's got a great personality. She really connects with the fans. Sure. Now, we've got 5 other women on the roster that we've seen. Naomi, Ember Moon, even Bailey and Sasha before they gave them this push. Yeah, I mean, they should have been able to look at that and said, like, we have these other women that could be the next Becky. How can we put them there? So it's not just about putting a woman on. I mean, granted, look at our critiques about, like, some of the stuff Lana, the segment she's been in. It's not just that it's a woman. What I'm saying is they need to look to that bench because I think that that's where there are bigger superstars to be had rather than a lot of these guys that just look like generic creator wrestlers.
Right. So that's why I do agree with you. They got to give them way more time. And I don't mean necessarily per matches. I mean, you're right. I mean segments. Yeah. I do agree with them putting Becky out there, even though some of those promos weren't great, because she was white hot at one time and they did not know what to do with her, quite frankly. She was so darn, like, what they're comparing her to Austin. Yeah. To Steve Austin. Yeah. Like, that's the best compliment you can ever get. So I don't think they know what to do with her. But regardless of which, is it half a show? Is it 3/4 show? I don't know. I just think you put whoever goes out there and get you the best rating.
Well, and it's interesting. So Michael Jasome is saying,
it would be them.
Yeah, saying that WWE seems better making women wrestlers right now than male wrestlers. I think it's
that a little bit, Glenn, but I think it's the damn girls working their asses off and trying to be different.
well, and here's the reason why, Matt, to piggyback on your point, let me yes and you here. It's because Vince has a very clear idea of what he thinks a male superstar is. And with women, because he doesn't know, it's more on the women to try things and create their own character. I bet you the women have more autonomy and the ability to do those things. Could you imagine if when you were in WWE, you were like, hey, I want to dye my hair blue, or I want to take something like that. They're like, Matt, 7 foot tall, you're a giant. Like we're going to put you in this category. With the women, I think that they have more autonomy because WWE doesn't know what to do with them, and it cuts both ways. It helps them and it hurts them because they don't know what to do with them.
Okay.
Yeah. Justin just sitting there.
I mean, it's not. It's no longer. Oh, you're a woman. We're gonna have you go.
Because Vince did have.
It's no longer. You're gonna be.
Okay.
No, it's no longer. You're gonna be just bra and panties matches. So I mean, I think you're right. I think there is something to that. That he's letting the girls just got to go out there and get to push their characters to the limit and kind of get to almost make the rules in a way.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
And I hate to always give Hunter credit because everyone gets mad online about Hunter for whatever reason, but you got to give him credit somewhere in there. I swear, I feel like he has something to do with some of this.
Yeah,
of giving them the confidence at times when they first start out, and that bridge between when they first start out to when they get on NXT TV, because a lot of these girls when they get on NXT TV are like, look at Gonzalez recently.
Yeah.
Right? She was greener than goose shit not too long ago. And then just the other night, we were talking about her like, holy crap. Did you see her power moves? Like, she was devastating out there. And it felt like that happened in a matter of like 2 shows to me of her improvement. And I would argue it's not necessarily her improvement. It's that confidence that someone like Hunter, I just have a feeling, is really trying to instill in a lot of them. I don't know why I feel that. I just do. I have nothing to base that on either.
No, he definitely gets it. I mean, I think that he is probably the biggest advocate for the women, certainly the highest up advocate for it. And I think that's the thing. I mean, I think when he has a greater role, we will see more happening. And it's just right now, it still feels so pigeonholed.
Old man's got to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So after that segment with Bayley and Sasha, we got a Kofi Kingston versus Nakamura match. This was a nice surprise.
Yeah. Another. I mean, this episode of SmackDown had some of the best bell-to-bell action, and it was really good. This was hard hitting. Nakamura caught Kofi a few times. Really good. I mean, I'm not necessarily interested in what story or whatever surrounding it going into it, but just for what it was.
The match itself.
Yeah, just the match itself.
If you were to see a lot of these matchups, you all watching this and listening right now, if you all were to see these lineups, this guy versus this guy, this woman versus this woman, and you saw it on the sheet of paper, you'd be like, holy crap, that's a hell of a pay-per-view card. You know what I mean? And that's what tonight's show felt like, I'll be honest. This was a good match. Yeah, it was cold. I get that. But quite frankly, every match is kind of cold somewhat, right? In this arena with nobody in there. This was a well-wrestled match, obviously.
Yeah. That was very good, with Shinsuke Nakamura picking up the win.
Good. I love Nakamura. I still think they completely screwed him as well. But
I'll be curious if they could do a little more story with this. I mean, I think we're going to get New Day versus Cesaro and Nakamura at Extreme.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
that could help them.
Next week we get that.
We're now, so they're doing it next week on TV, not even at the pay-per-view.
Right.
To be put in a storyline with New Day always will at least make the other team look somewhat more charismatic by proxy somehow. It always works that way. So I hope that's what happens here, because I love Cesaro, but he really, I can't believe I'm saying this, but in my opinion, he brings Nakamura down a little.
Really?
I think Nakamura's again, another semi-main event talent wrestler. I don't think he should be where they got him.
I love Cesaro. I want to see Cesaro.
Great wrestler.
The two people that are on the brand right now, and one of them would have to switch, because I'd want to see Cesaro versus John Morrison, because John Morrison's offense and Cesaro's power, I feel like the sequences they would come up with, and I want to see Cesaro versus Matt Riddle. That'd be another one that I've never seen something of.
It would, but the whole time you would watch the match, you wouldn't be watching, and that's the problem with today's wrestling. Many times we're not watching to see who's going to win. We watch to see the action of the match at this point when we know the tip off is Cesaro ain't beating nobody.
Yeah.
So we don't lose our we don't suspend our disbelief enough when it involves him, unfortunately.
No, you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong with that.
I'm 99.9% positive Riddle would go over, but Riddle versus Nakamura could be incredible. I just don't think. I mean, that would be like maybe the main event of an episode of SmackDown.
Those kicks would be crazy.
Yeah, it could be great. But yeah, it's clear that they're high on Matt Riddle. See what I did there?
Hi.
Yes. So we got the preview for the Swamp match, Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. I mean, it is what it is.
Is somebody going to get eaten by an alligator?
Hope so. Alligators are scary, man.
You're going to have to do something crazy with this.
What can you do? What can you do with it?
Swamp match? Well, you could have an alligator. That's step one.
Seriously.
Somebody had better arrive on a fan boat.
I don't know, but as part of the...
It's in a swamp.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Was it Flipper or Gentle Ben where they used to have that and the kids were always able to go jump on it and go, Glenn?
I think it was Flipper. I'll have to check. I wasn't a huge Flipper fan. Although I did watch the Flipper movie with Paul Hogan and Elijah Wood. That's actually a pretty solid movie.
I didn't see the movie.
I wrote it off. It was just on cable. This was like a couple of years ago. I was flipping channels and we watched it. I was like, this is actually a pretty good film. But yeah, I think it was Flipper.
No.
I think. Wasn't a big Gentle Ben mark. Oh, Gentle Ben. Matt, like seriously, like even for our generation, like that's old. That's an old school reference.
Okay.
Up there with BJ and the Bear. Actually, I think older than that. Yeah, Matt knows what's up. Yeah, the swamp match, but no, I think they need to have a lot of flourishes. But I'm not excited about this version of Bray Wyatt coming back. I feel like think about everything we got from the Firefly Funhouse and the Fiend. Like I hope this is the last we see of this iteration for the foreseeable future.
Well, so in the new exclusive on Wrestling Inc. that I referenced earlier, I'll just go a little bit deeper. Basically, it seems like the plan with WWE is to do the three faces of Wyatt. We saw Firefly Funhouse sweater wearing Wyatt lose to Braun. Now we're getting flashback early Wyatt family, swampy Waylon Mercy Wyatt, and then finally it'll come to SummerSlam where it's the Fiend and Strowman. So
it should be Muscle Man Bray Wyatt. He would kick Strowman's ass.
Who said that? That was such a terrible throw of the voice. But yeah, he's his best character. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's most slept on. Like that, I think is where
what got the biggest. Okay, what got the big?
We lost you, Matt. But yes, they did get the biggest pop, the Muscle Man dance. Oh, there he is. Now we got you, Matt. Muscle Man dance, biggest pop.
Yes, that got the biggest pop at WrestleMania versus Cena.
Yeah.
That was the Saturday Night Main Event angle. That was Muscle Man.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know why the chat room is now talking about the sitcom Small Wonder, which is very random. But yes, I remember watching that in first run syndication. I know somebody who was Vicky's college roommate when Vicky grew up and went to college. You watched Small Wonder, Justin?
No, I'm sitting there racking my brain trying to see if I remember that one. I don't.
So a couple that already had a child, the dad made a robot of a young girl. And they treated her like the daughter, and they had to hide the secret that she was the robot. But the nosy neighbor, Edie McClurg, was the nosy neighbor on the show. You remember her from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
What was it called? Small Wonder?
Small Wonder. It's not a good show at all. Except the little boy looked like a young Billy Corgan back when he had hair. It's probably the thing that has best going.
Yeah, this I vaguely do. I've seen this on like a TV network or
yes. Leon, our superstar, Matt, give your opinion on Braun's epic new hairstyle.
Leon already knows. Not good.
So this last segment, Sheamus toasting Jeff Hardy out there to a bar. There was Sheamus's personal bartender, Jeeves, there to give Jeff Hardy whatever he wanted to drink. And after this back and forth, after Sheamus trying to urge him to drink, Hardy made it seem like he was going to, then threw the drink at Jeeves, smashed a bottle over his head. just Swanton bomb on him. Jeeves was just doing his job, man. It was very unfair. And that's how we went off the air tonight.
We did. Good SmackDown, though. This was a good SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, it's a good SmackDown. I mean, this ending segment, not the strongest ending, but this was a result of an audible. They wanted to do it last week, and of course, we talked last week about the shuffle they had to do.
Yeah.
Glenn, I don't know if you noticed. I think this is they did this entire as filming in real time. Sheamus was real time being able to interact with Jeff. I think they did this with Sheamus on Zoom. They never took Sheamus's shot full screen. They always showed Sheamus's shot from the perspective of a camera shooting the video board. So I think that I think this is part of the creativity right now of having some talent not being able to be in the PC, as they did this all with a little Zoom feed of Sheamus interacting with the Hardy.
Yeah.
Technical fun.
But seriously, folks, go back and watch this show if you did miss it. This actually was I thought, a worthwhile show with some really good wrestled out matches. Like, seriously, this was a good show. And
the Sasha Bailey stuff was fantastic, that whole segment.
Yes, it was. There was a lot of good stuff. Riddle, AJ. God dang, that was great.
Brandon Hall, $2, saying Justin's too young for Small Wonder. He saw reruns. And
I'm sorry, not AJ. Both of their matches, sorry.
Yes.
What did he say?
I said Justin was too young for Small Wonder, but hey, I have to share this, Matt, because the Silvered Grunion, who makes some great artwork for this podcast, put together the Wrestling Inc. podcast team as Batman villains, and there's Raj as Joker, Matt as Bane, me as the Riddler, and Justin as Kite Man.
Oh, yes, that was very wow. That's so astute. Very good attention to detail. Seriously, what's his name?
The Silvered Grunion. He makes
good job, Silver Grunion. Very good work, my friend. That's excellent work. Wow.
Nice.
Yes. Did you watch that?
Kite Man.
Did you watch that clip of the Bane highlights I sent you from the Harley Quinn series, Matt?
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, it's a funny show. It's a very funny show.
Funny. Seriously.
It's on DC's streaming service. I think it's going to be on HBO Max soon. I know they're showing it censored on Adult Swim.
Is that the one that Kaylee Cuoco's behind?
Yeah. And Ron Funches does the voice of King Shark on that. He's very good. It's great. It's really hilarious. Carmel, the H reviewing Crisp and Talking Sports, $4.99, saying, hi guys, long time watcher from Milton Keynes, England. Love you guys, especially Matt for his days in TNA. Matt, who's your favorite British wrestler ever?
What's happening, Carmel? British wrestler. That's a tough one. It really is. I'm going to call somebody that's much more current than people. They probably expect me to say British Bulldog or something like that. Or I'm going to say, I like Doug Williams. I'm a huge Doug Williams mark.
There you go.
And shout out to Carmel for staying up late with us over there in England.
Seriously.
Yes. Thank you, brother.
We've got actually quite an international audience. I'm always shocked the messages I get from fans that are from all over the world who watch this podcast, which is just awesome. What else do we got, Justin?
We have anybody else there? Because I got to get cracking. I apologize.
Nope,
no problem. I think we're good, man. So, hey, everyone. Monday night, me, Matt Morgan, and Raj Giri, the Joker of the Wrestling Inc. podcast, are going to be back to talk about Monday Night Raw. So until then, he's at BP Matt Morgan. He's at Justin LaBar. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. Have a good 4th of July, everyone.
Yes,
enjoy
be safe.
Celebrating America's birthday. Be safe, be sane, be well. Guys. And we'll catch you back here Monday.